to episode 11. These go to 11 of the RazorwireReviews Bat-a-thon, and this is an ill episode. I'm really ill, feel horrible, but I just have to do this. I have to get out of the way. As you can see, even though I'm ill, I'm still sporting the old Batman paraphernalia stuff thingy. Yeah, my brain's not going to be working very well today. So, Batman and Robin, the 1949 movie serial. Before I even get to this, apologies that this has taken so long for me to make this episode. It's just taken such a long time to watch it. It's 263 minutes. That's well over 4 hours long, and it was hard to get through, honestly. And it's probably the least favourite thing I've watched or done for this Bat-a-thon. So anyway, in 1949, Columbia decided that they were going to make another Batman movie serial. In 1948, the Superman serial was released. They thought, let's bring Batman back. So they did, and they completely recast it, and they call it Batman and Robin. And playing Batman is Robert Lowery. Playing Dick Grayson Robin is Johnny Duncan. Playing Vicky Vale, we see Vicky Vale for the first time, Jane Adams. Lyle Talbot plays Commissioner Gordon, we see Commissioner Gordon for the first time. William Fawcett plays this guy called Professor Hamill, who's this like weird guy and a professor in a wheelchair, and he's just like a bit of a grumpy bastard, and he's invented this technology which has been stolen by the main villain of the film, the Wizard, played by Leonard Penn, who also plays another character in the film, because it's basically like a, you know, who is it kind of thing. Throughout all 15 episodes of this movie serial, you're trying to figure out who is the Wizard, basically. And I've explained what a movie serial is in the part 5 of the Bat-a-thon, when I talk about the first Batman movie serial, Batman from 1943. So if you know what movie serial is, then just check out that. It's down in the description box with all the links to all the episodes, and you can check out my review of the first movie serial. The 15 episodes, just like with Batman, the titles are Batman Takes Over, Tunnel of Terror, Robin's Wild Ride, Batman Trapped, Robin Rescues Batman, Target, Robin, The Fatal Blast, Robin Meets the Wizard Strikes Back, The Return of the Wizard. Okay, there isn't a Return of the Wizard, but there was The Wizard Strikes Back. Then it's Batman's Last Chance, Robin's Ruse, Robin Rides the Wind. Wait, was that another one? No, that was Robin's Wild Ride. It's a lot of Robin episode titles. Robin Rides the Wind, The Wizard's Challenge, Batman vs. Wizard, and Batman Victorious at the end. Ooh, giving away the ending. So, Robert Lowery is Batman. I didn't like him, I'll be honest. I've read reviews and stuff online of this serial just to kind of get a feel of what other people think about it, and it seems most people think he was a better Batman than Lewis Wilson in the 1943 serial. And I disagree. I think Lewis Wilson had a better look for Batman. He played Batman better. He was just more of a fun character. Yeah, well, not fun like in like a party, like, you know, hey, let's have some fun. But I mean, like, you know, it was just more enjoyable, I guess is a better way of saying it. He was a more enjoyable Batman as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And I just didn't really like Robert Lowery that much. I don't know. He just, I can't even put my finger on why, you know. And I don't want to go too in depth here. I want to make this a short installment, but I just didn't really like him as Batman that much. I don't know why. And his Batsuit wasn't that good. It's probably the worst Batsuit of any incarnation, I think. Like the cowl, the mask, it just didn't seem to fit his face properly. Like every now and again he'd be, you know, looking up to see through it. It was a bit, you know, apparently it was cheaper than the first movie serial. Movie serials were kind of on the out at this point, I think. And I think that showed. And it was kind of disappointing, to be honest. And you know what? I'm getting really hot now, so I'm going to take off my Joker robe. Even though I'm ill and I need this robe. Oh, guitar. I'll leave that in. And yeah, so, and Johnny Duncan as Robin, didn't like him at all. He was just wooden. You know, it's hard to hear him sometimes. Like, he seemed older as well. He seemed like he was in his 30s. Like, he probably wasn't, but he just seemed too old to play Robin and stocky, and it didn't work for me at all. Johnny Duncan as Robin. Jane Adams as Vicky Vale. I mean, she was alright, you know. Just a typical kind of 40s actress, I guess. Lyle Talbot as Commissioner Gordon, he was pretty good, but I don't know, it's just not on par with other, well, I was going to say other Commissioner Gordons, but Pat Hingle in the in all 4 of the 80s and 90s films, he wasn't that great as Commissioner Gordon either. I mean, he was good, definitely better than Lyle Talbot, but you know, I think Gary Oldman's probably, you know, the one who really defined the role of Commissioner Gordon, and also I think Bryan Cranston did a very good job in Year One animated film. So yeah, I don't know. He was thrown in there as Commissioner Gordon, and you know, I just don't think he was that great, I guess. And it's hard to kind of review this and say, well, he wasn't that good. You know, it was like literally like what, 49. That's like 60 years ago, 63 years ago, and you know, it's hard to criticize it, I guess, because it is of its time. But yeah, I wasn't bowled over with him. I really like William Fawcett though as Professor Hamill, and he's just like he has a really kind of distinctive face. Like he's kind of old and he's got like the wrinkles and stuff. And when he's like, you know, I think the first time you see him, he comes in and he's like, "You fools," or something like that, and his face just looks really like animated and stuff. He was really good. I liked him. And there's this weird thing where he would get out of his wheelchair when he was alone and get into an electric chair and be like, and then it was never really explained. Leonard Penn as the Wizard. I hated the Wizard. Oh my god, what an awful villain. Awful, awful villain. It was like, okay, it's 1949. The Joker's now out in the comics. Catwoman is now out in the comics. So who do you have our main villain be? I know. Let's just get a guy, a random bad guy, call him the Wizard. Really, really, you know, unique name. Let's just cover him in a black cape, put a black hood over his head, and yeah, just have him have a deep voice. It was really just, it was a weak villain, and the whole kind of plot from the Wizard for, you know, the whole movie serial was that he had stolen technology from Professor Hamill that allows him to control cars and objects from anywhere from a 50-mile radius. So it was controlling vehicles, and then it's like controlling other things, and there's like a, you know, like an invisible gun and stuff. Oh, actually, was that? I can't even remember. But the Wizard eventually turned himself invisible as well. Well, there's this bit where they're like, "Oh, this is a report. There is the Wizard. He is invisible, and he is in a phone box. That is all." It's like really weird, and I don't know. The guy who played him was just like, you know, "I'm just going to talk a little deeper, and that will be satisfactory." And just was an awful villain. You could have done so much more with this. Now, one thing I will say about this serial, the tone was more in line with the Batman, I think, or with comics. Well, in some ways and not in some other ways. I'll explain. The 1943 serial was really bogged down with kind of like propaganda, like underlining there, and a bit of racism and just stuff that was related to the war. You know, with Dr. Daka, this Japanese guy, purely created because of the whole thing with the war, you know, and he wasn't a comic book character at all. So it's cool they did try and make like a supervillain in this serial, as opposed to just Dr. Daka, who made zombies and stuff. But it was a really uninspired supervillain. But it, you know, in a way, you know, you get gangsters in this. It just felt more like a Batman story than the 1943 serial. Even though I will say now categorically that I do prefer the 1943 serial, because Batman and Robin were great in it. I love Batman and Robin. Lewis Wilson and Douglas Croft were awesome. And that's another thing. The chemistry between Robert Lowery and Johnny Duncan wasn't great. It wasn't great as from Batman and Robin. I just didn't feel it. Another thing I'll say about this, even though the budget wasn't that good, the stunts were probably better. I really, really like the stunts and the fighting. It's the same kind of format as the old one. It was just like, well, this is old as well, but I mean, you know, the one that came before it, the 1943 serial. How many times am I going to say the 1943 serial? Sick of it. You know, it would lead up, you know, it'd be like, okay, so let's investigate this, and then there's some bad guys running around, henchmen, and then like, oh, and blah blah blah, and then Vicky Vale's like, I'm trying to find out who Batman is, and I think it's Bruce Wayne, and then, oh god, she's getting close to the thing, and then, okay, and there's the henchman, and let's have a fight, and then there's like a fight scene that's really cool, and like, you know, they always got like good stuntmen to be beaten up and stuff, and like there's a bit where Batman grabs two guys, throws them together, and they just literally dive feet off the ground into each other and then collapse on each other. Really cool stunt. There's a bit where they're out in, and another thing, it seems like most of this was shot in like the, you know, like the dusty roads up in LA, you know, that kind of area, you know, with, like the Hollywood Hills. Oh, so much of the film was like there, just cars driving around there and stuff. There's a bit where they're there and there's this huge like rock, and the bad guys are at the bottom, but there's huge kind of precipice. Precipice, is that the right word? I don't know. I don't think it is actually. I think I really messed up there and tried to sound clever. Anyway, this big rock, alright, and it's kind of almost like a cliff, and Batman's stood on top of it and he's waiting for these bad guys. And then he just dives off, and I'm like, what the hell? It's like a 20-foot drop, and he just jumps down, and you know, he lands feet first and stuff, but it's still really impressive. And there's a great scene as well where Batman jumps onto a moving train from a car, and then he's fighting with these guys on top of the train, and it's like the rear projection, the front projection, the rear projection, where they're on the train fighting, and then the big screen behind them is showing the train about to go under a tunnel, and it was really good. Like, it was a really good shot. You'd think it sounds really cheesy and, you know, bad, and because like the old movie kind of stuff, but it really worked well, that shot. Like, the train really looked like it was going into the tunnel, and they really did a great job with that shot, because I thought, wow, that's really cool. I like that one a lot. That was a great shot in the film. Every episode seems to end with Batman just like almost dying. Like, it just gets comical. It's like he gets locked in a gas chamber, he gets burned alive, or supposedly burnt alive at least twice. He gets thrown into this switchboard and it blows up and he gets electrocuted. And then, like, in the next episode, he's like, I'm fine. They hit me over there with an iron bar and it must have deactivated it or something like that. He gets electrocuted again in the Hollywood Hills, and he falls off a cliff. Batman and Robin are in a car, and then the wizard makes the car fly off a cliff. That's another really cool shot, like nice shot of a car falling down a 100-foot cliff. How else does he die? There's so many. Like, every episode ends with Batman almost dying, and he gets his ass kicked in this film. Like, even one-on-one, he gets his ass kicked. He gets his ass handed to him. Robin's always there to pick up the pieces. And, you know, it was enjoyable. If there was just like, if it was cut down to like 90 minutes and featured most of the fight scenes, if you like did like a re-edit and just put in like just the most important story points and then most of the fighting and stuff, it would be a really enjoyable, fun film. But it just goes on quite long, and again, it's not meant to be viewed in one piece. And I didn't view it in one piece. I watched them, you know, over a couple of weeks, you know. But, you know, it just drags. Even the episodes themselves drag, and you know, the ending wasn't that satisfactory either. And there's a funny bit at the end where Vicky Vale's on the phone, and there's Alfred holding up the phone to a gramophone playing Bruce Wayne's voice while Batman's in the office with her, and she's like, you know, that's the funniest thing. Batman's like, what? And he's like, I thought you were Bruce Wayne. And he's like, oh, no, what is it? Something like, I forget the whole line now anyway, but she's like, oh, I thought that you were, the Batman was Bruce Wayne, that you were Bruce Wayne. And she's like, but he was just on the phone to me. Isn't that absurd? And he's like, wasn't it? And it just ends. It's really weird. It was a kind of similar kind of vein to the end of the first movie serial, where he's like, you know, I'm just going to not put any effort into anything anymore because the Batman always seems to get there ahead of me. You know, when Bruce Wayne turns up at the end, and but that one had a bit of a charm to it, and it felt like it was a bit of fun, whereas this one just felt really forced, like, oh, look, well, that's an absurd idea. Yes, wasn't it? Really weird ending. And another thing, like, in the first Batman movie serial, he seems like more of a vigilante, like when he's dropping off the criminals outside the police station in Gotham with like with the Bat logo on their heads and stuff. Whereas in this one, he's just hanging around in Commissioner Gordon's office all the time, just like, how can we deal with this? Which is kind of at the ilk of the 1966 Batman series, I guess. But overall, I'd say this film is enjoyable for the stunts and the fighting, and it has a bit of a good comic book spirit to it. But it's definitely the least fun I've had watching anything Batman related for this Bat-a-thon so far. Yeah, just 'cause it's quite long, and you know, the good bits take a while to get to, you know. And overall, I just didn't really buy Batman and Bruce Wayne. I didn't buy Dick Grayson or Robin, and they didn't have much chemistry together either. So it's like, that's your main. It's Batman and Robin, that's the title, and when they don't work that well, that's when it's like, and then you got a villain who's quite uninspired. You know, when a side character like Professor Hamill is like the most interesting character, like I was always looking forward to his scenes, then it's like, you haven't really got the mix right there. I didn't like it that much. Overall, it's, you know, I wouldn't say it is even worth watching, but, you know, if there's like a YouTube clip of all the best stunts in the film, you should definitely watch that. But otherwise, you know, it's a nice piece of Batman history, but at the same time, not one I'm going to be revisiting too often. I am going to get the DVD because I want to get both the serials on DVD, because I now have a region-free player so I can watch them. I don't want to have them just as a completist, you know, to have all the Batman films. And I'll definitely watch it again. I felt so rushed this past couple of weeks doing so much things, and I guess I probably could have enjoyed it more if I'd been more relaxed while watching and not being like, right, I've got to watch this, what time is it, you know. So anyway, yeah, that's Batman and Robin. And yeah, so next part 12, will be going up either tomorrow or Sunday, and it'll be Batman Begins, right here. And then on Monday, the usual episode, it will be The Dark Knight. So I'm going to be doing a double bill of the Christopher Nolan films over this weekend, and then it's only 5 days until The Dark Knight Rises. And I've done like an update video on my channel, but for the sake of just being inside this little Bat-a-thon series, just to update that I will be doing a reaction video on Friday, a special installment of the Bat-a-thon. Quick video just talking about my first reactions from The Dark Knight Rises, and then the Monday after that, so 2 weeks on Monday, you'll be getting the full, no holds barred, mega review of The Dark Knight Rises, by which point I will have at least seen it twice, because I might go see it with my dad on the Sunday as well. If not, I'll go and see it myself, because I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. The soundtrack's just been released, I'm listening to that, and yeah, can't wait. And you know, the whole reason this Bat-a-thon has started was to lead up to The Dark Knight Rises, and it's getting closer now. Watching these two, Batman Begins and Dark Knight, is going to really amp me up. And I'm going to be reviewing the Blu-rays in full as well as the films. So look out for those over the weekend. I know it's a lot of content over, you know, the next 3 or 4 days. But that's just the way it is. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Same bad time, same bad channel. Actually, no, because it's not on Monday. And I really tried to keep to the Monday thing, but it didn't really happen. So, but Monday's episode will be there, The Dark Knight, and an extra little installment of Batman Begins over the weekend. I'm talking about this too much. No one really cares. Thanks for watching. See ya.